quite know how I want to start this. This has been a video that I have really wanted to make. And you know what I think was stopping me? This is such a personal part of my life and I didn't feel the need to share it, but I have had a series of conversations recently. Old friends, new friends, people have been writing me DMs, I've seen comments, and so now it's gotten to the point where I see value in talking about it. Not that I didn't before. Ugh, you see, we're in a merry-go-round. Okay. If you have listened to my podcast, if you've followed me for a while, there have been times where I've just casually said that I am still a virgin. It really is something that people don't talk about, and I'm not sure why. You know, I was talking to one of my friends who said that when she went into college, she had still not slept with anyone. She said that she remembers like lying to people and making up stories because she felt so ashamed and embarrassed of the fact that she hadn't. I've had people who just recently I found out that they waited till marriage and I had no idea. And even that, I was like, why is that? I've heard so much about, you know, other people and the choices they've made, but why did you feel the need to like not talk about that? And it was that same thing of like almost like embarrassment. It's just not the narrative that's ever talked about. And so I just simply want to talk about it. I think there's people out there that are wanting to make different decisions, but they feel like they're the only one and they feel isolated, they feel embarrassed, they feel judged, whatever it is. And when you feel trapped in a corner like that, sometimes you make decisions that you weren't ready for. Now, I want to say a couple things straight off the bat. There is no need for you to have an opinion about what I'm about to say because this is not your life. This is my choice. It's my body. It's my business. Move on to another video if you're looking for a place to do this, because that's not why I'm doing it. This is not me defending myself, persuade someone to think the way I have, nothing like that. It is also, and I am not saying that I am better than people because I've made this choice or like this is right, you're wrong. Nothing like that is coming from my mouth. I do not want any tone of judgment or anything to be heard from this video because that is not my heart and that is not my intention. Again, I'm not trying to make it seem like I'm this like holy person. Like I've messed up, I've done a lot of things, I'm not innocent, but sex was something I drew a hard line for myself for. There came this point in my life where I was like, why am I embarrassed about the fact that I've chosen to be super protective of who I'm willing to give a certain part of myself to? There just was this tone shift that happened for me, and it has been so empowering. It irks me, especially when it comes to relationships. It feels, when you have that conversation with a guy, it feels as if you're like saying, hey, I have 4 children, $50 billion in student loan debt. Would you please date me? Even though like, here's all my flaws. Like it gives the feeling of being in that category when you tell a guy like, hey, I'm really vibing with you, but I'm just letting you know, like, I'm not going to have sex with you. Like that's something I'm protecting and like, I'm just not willing to do that. So many guys will just be like, ooh, and bounce. There's not only the pressure of fitting into society, but there's this pressure of, oh my gosh, like I'm really into this guy. And then when you make it clear that you've drawn a boundary for yourself, and this can be any boundary that you've drawn for yourself, they leave. And so you start to like, your mind starts to do this thing where you're like, oh my gosh, I have to do this in order to keep this. And it's so unhealthy and it's so toxic. And whether you're choosing to do things or not, it should never be out of that fear. It should be because you want to and you've made that decision intentionally. It shouldn't be because you're trying to make someone stay in your life. That specifically has been something I felt myself start to dread, you know, when I would go on dates and I'd be like, oh, we're starting to get in that subject of conversation and I'm gonna say this and they're gonna leave. But then I kind of flipped the script in my head and was like, actually, like, I'd rather just get this out of the way now and weed out. Like for me, I really want a guy that's like, hey, like I wanna get to know you personally and build that connection and see if we have a future. If sex has has to be within that, which is their choice and no judgment on them, like it's just not gonna match up with me. So I'd rather just know that ahead of time and like, you know, before I get attached. I will share why I have chosen to make this decision. I don't care what you think. I'm sharing this because I'm thinking about the people out there who would have loved to have this conversation with someone and feel not alone. So, if I had to consolidate my reasons for this decision into like a bullet point list, definitely started with how I was raised. I was raised in a Christian home. I am a Christian. So from a religious standpoint, that kind of started this journey of making this decision. Even if that's your only reason, actually, you don't even need to have a reason. Can we just start there? If you don't feel comfortable doing something, that is reason enough. And you don't need to voice it to anybody. You don't need to come up with a list, nothing. If you are in a situation and you have this gut feeling where you're like, I don't know if I want to do that, period. End of discussion. That's the only thing you need to say is, hey, I'm not comfortable doing this. Anyone, oh, this gets me fired up. Anyone who questions you, who makes fun of you, who tries to change your mind, gone. That is not respecting you and what you are comfortable with. And that's so important. And this is with everything in life. In high school, I started watching some of my friends get in relationships with guys and make that choice. I'm a very observant, empathetic person. Like I feel people's emotions. Watching the journey of how that changed some of my friends for those specific circumstances, like not in a good way, like watching just emotionally what that did for them, watching like trust issues that came out, jealousy that came out, what happened when they broke up with that person. I was very like, whoa, like this definitely can have like a ginormous impact. So that was like the second thing in my life that I was like, I need to really think about this. In college, I studied human sexuality. It's very fascinating. Like if you look up videos that break down just like biologically what happens during sex, it's nuts. How many things are happening during that time that can connect two people together? That to me was like, oh my gosh, no wonder it's hard for people to move on when they have been intimate in that way. And not everyone. Some people are able to like, you know, I get attached so easily to people without anything. We don't even have to handshake and I can love you with my entire heart. So I was like, don't think I would handle this well. Next, I think people think like people who choose not to have sex just like don't want to, or they're just not physical people or whatever. I am. Like I am a very, physical touch is my love language. I've seen how quick habits form and things like that. So for me, I know that once I make this choice, it's gonna be hard for me not to like really, you know, explore that area. I would rather do that with someone I love and trust. And this last one is like super cheesy, like super sentimental. I know, I'm aware. I've experienced so much in life with like different people. I've had my heart broken. I've had a lot of firsts. I've loved and been loved and all these things. There's something so beautiful to me about when I meet the man that I'm gonna be with if I ever meet him, because where are you? To be able to say, I'm giving you this part of me that no one has experienced. I don't know, like something about that just feels really beautiful to me. And I don't care if they've had experience, because I think whatever you go through in life, it makes you the person that you are. So obviously, like when I meet the person that like I'm meant to be with and I'm in love with and all those things, I don't care about their past. I don't care. Again, like this is not an area of judgment for me. Like this is just something that I personally have decided. Sitting back, knowing the way that I function, knowing the way I think, it's just a choice I've made for myself. It's funny, I was talking to my therapist about, you know, like how I think that this does really hinder me meeting guys, because not a lot of guys are willing to like not have that form of like physical intimacy. And she like stopped me and was just like, hey, like everyone can have sex, but not everyone cannot have sex. Just giving me props and saying like, that's a really cool decision. That takes a lot of discipline. And it was cool because from an area that had so much like shame and embarrassment and like, oh, I don't want anyone to know, to then being something that it's like, no, like this is something like I find power in and strength in, and it's a decision that I've made, and it's a decision I'm not ashamed of, was just like a really cool flip. And so I don't even know if I'm gonna post this, but like if I do, the message I'm trying to share is you need to make decisions for yourself. Sit back, talk to yourself. If you choose to do or not do something, it should be out of a place of comfort. It shouldn't be out of a place of feeling forced to, or keeping up with people, or it's a rite of passage, or ooh, by this age, or comical jokes that are made about people who don't have sex. There is so much that we are pressured into that drastically change who we are. And I think with an area like this, it's okay to make choices that are not the same as other people. And if you do not be apologetic about it. Like step into it. And if people don't respect the decisions you make in life, then bye. Like they're not meant to be in your life. The people who deserve your love and affection are gonna be people who not just accept and they're like, I guess, accept who you are, but they're gonna love and respect who you are, and they're gonna be in awe of you and how you live your life. So stand up straight, roll those shoulders back, get in that posture of, yeah, that's me. Yeah, that's the choice I made. And no more cowering and being apologetic for making choices that make you who you are. Nobody has time for that. Be bold, be strong, be beautiful in whatever you choose to do in your life. And yeah, honestly, I don't even know what I've talked about because I kind of blacked out. But I love ya. And I hope, you know, this was something to someone. Okay.